Long before the cross, God gave Israel a mysterious sacrifice, a spotless red heifer set apart for cleansing and purification. Hidden within this ancient ordinance was a prophetic picture pointing toward redemption, holiness, and the coming work of Christ. The Lord commanded Israel to bring a red heifer without defect, without blemish, and upon which no yoke had ever been placed. The red heifer was given to Eleazar the priest. He was then taken outside the camp and slaughtered in his presence, according to the statute of the law. This sacrifice was not performed inside the sanctuary. It took place outside the camp, to the east of the tabernacle, pointing to separation, uncleanness, and the burden of sin. Although the red heifer has been compared to other sacrifices, such as the scapegoat, it remains unique. It was prepared once, and its ashes continued to cleanse Israel as long as they remained. The purpose of the red heifer was purification. It cleansed the Israelites from Levitical defilement and restored access to God's presence. This cleansing was not only for the children of Israel, but also for the stranger living among them. In this, the sacrifice already pointed beyond one nation. The red heifer points to Jesus Christ, spotless, without sin, never yoked by corruption, and fit for the work of redemption. Just as the red heifer's cleansing extended beyond Israel, Christ died not only for the Jews, but for all mankind, bringing remission of sins through his blood. On the cross, the sins of the world were laid upon Christ. He took what made man unclean, so that we might become the righteousness of God. The red heifer was entirely burned, its skin, flesh, blood, and remains reduced to ashes. Nothing was held back. To ensure complete crushing, the remaining fragments were beaten into fine ashes. This symbolically parallels the suffering and crushing of Christ for mankind. The ashes of the red heifer were mixed with water to create purification water, cleansing those who had become ceremonially unclean. Through Ezekiel, God declared, "I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your uncleanness." Paul warned that before the final day, a great falling away would come, an apostasy among professed believers. Scripture speaks of the man of lawlessness, one who exalts himself above every object of worship and seeks to sit in the temple as though he were God. In Jewish history, only 9 unblemished red heifers were used from the first temple through the second temple period. Jewish writings teach that the 10th red heifer is connected to the coming of the Messiah and the restoration of temple service. Today, preparations for a future temple continue, including temple instruments, priestly garments, and ceremonial training. In Revelation, John was given a measuring rod and instructed to measure the temple of God, the altar, and those who worship there. The red heifer sacrifice is considered necessary for restoring ceremonial purity and resuming sacred activities connected to the temple. Jewish priests continue preparations for Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, awaiting the conditions necessary for temple worship. Temple instruments, priestly garments, and sacred furnishings have already been prepared in expectation of future temple service. For many, the rebuilding of the third temple represents a major prophetic expectation connected to the last days. Yet one major obstacle remains. The Dome of the Rock still stands on the Temple Mount, making the issue deeply sensitive and significant. Since Israel's rebirth as a nation in 1948, Jewish people from many nations have continued returning to their homeland. In 2022, 5 red heifers were brought from America to Israel under strict conditions, renewing global attention toward the prophecy of the red heifer. Some Jewish writings associate the appearance of the 10th red heifer with the coming of the Messiah and the restoration of temple worship. Yet beyond every earthly sacrifice stands Jesus Christ, the final and perfect purification for all mankind. The red heifer pointed toward cleansing, preparation, and access to God, but Christ fulfilled the greater reality, preparing a purified people for his eternal kingdom. But the greatest mystery was never the ashes, nor the temple, nor the sacrifice itself. They were only shadows pointing to the one who would come. Jesus Christ, the final purification, the eternal sacrifice, and the only way into the presence of God.